Village founder Hiraku Mashio awakens from a dream of dying from a terminal illness in his past life, then goes about his normal day running his farming village populated by demi-humans. In the past, the god of Earth chose to reincarnate Hiraku as an apology for his unusually harsh life and painful terminal illness. Hiraku asked to reincarnate as a farmer as he loved watching farming shows in the hospital. God gifts him a powerful new body and the magic omnipotent farming tool, which can summon any tool he requires and can be used without growing tired. Awakening in a forest far from civilization, Hiraku selects the largest tree as the site for his farm, and with the tool is able to construct a well, build a camp, and dig his first field. To his amazement, the tool causes crops to begin sprouting without planting seeds first. After a few weeks, he rescues a pair of wolves he names Kuro and Yuki, who gives birth same night to 4 puppies, adopting all the wolves to protect the farm from monsters, and eventually Hiraku begins harvesting his first crop. Elsewhere, a young traveling woman hears tales of the monster-filled Death Forest and decides to investigate. God realizes he messed up by reincarnating Hiraku in the Forest of Death, but decides to wait until a monster eats him, then reincarnate him again. Hiraku discovers he can dictate which seeds the tool sows with his mind and expands his fields. With winter approaching, the wolves fetch a friendly giant spider who weaves warm clothing in exchange for living in Hiraku's tree. Hiraku names the spider Zabuton. Throughout the winter, Hiraku struggles with loneliness, especially when the wolf puppies mature and find mates, and even Zabuton reappears with 20 babies. In the spring, Hiraku discovers a weakened vampire child named Rue in the woods, and after donating his blood, she resumes her adult size. Rue is amazed by his crops, which are new to this world, and explains she is a medicinal researcher. But when nobles sent a troublesome person to steal her research, she hid in the forest. They become friendly, and Hiraku asks Rue to move in with him. Rue agrees, and they become engaged to be married. Hiraku adds a herb garden to his fields to assist in Rue's research. Elsewhere, another young traveling woman is looking for the Death Forest. An angel named Tia appears searching for Rue and is surprised to find her married to Hiraku. Tia reveals Rue has a bounty on her after she destroyed a town, though Rue insists it was justified since a noble kept her imprisoned there. Rue abruptly invites Tia to live with them, and after experiencing their farming life, she takes to it like a natural. The wolves have even more puppies, so Hiraku expands the farm to give them more space. Half of Zabuton's babies leave to find their own territory, but the others live on Hiraku's fruit trees. Needing workers, Tia invites 7 girls to the farm, members of an almost extinct high elf clan who need a permanent home to rebuild their population. Due to their long lifespans, the elves have multiple skills, including construction, blacksmithing, and baking. Hiraku worries the demon lord who controls the forest will accuse him of stealing the land, but Rue assures him the demon lord won't care. Hiraku decides to improve the waterways around the farm. Zabuton captures a monster queen bee and gives it to Hiraku, who constructs a shed for her to build a hive and produce honey. Hiraku and the elves construct a canal and reservoir for access to water and fishing. With an abundance of water, Hiraku constructs his first rice field and uses the first harvest to make onigiri with fish. Next, they construct a bathhouse, including a second reservoir which they filled with slimes to purify water from the baths before returning it to the river. Hiraku is able to have a bath, but his relaxing bath becomes very stressful surrounded by 9 beautiful, naked ladies who insist on joining him in the bath. 5 additional elven girls make their way to the farm, so Hiraku decides to build more houses. The elves seem determined to begin having babies as soon as possible, worrying Hiraku as he is the only man among an increasing number of women. Kuro the wolf narrates he is grateful to Hiraku for giving him and his family a permanent home. He is certain Hiraku, who easily survives in Death Forest and attracts so many potential wives, must be more than an average human. At everyone else's insistence, Hiraku's house is rebuilt even larger with single bedrooms for himself, Rue and Tia, and a communal dining room for everyone to share. Hiraku wisely ignores the secret double bed hidden behind a locked door. Hiraku harvests his first crop of spices, allowing him to make curry with naan bread. Rue and Tia become obsessed with turning cilantro into protective charms against Hiraku's wolves, who dislike the strong smell, as they still remember the wolves beating them up the first times they came to the farm. Winter approaches, so everyone begins stockpiling supplies, particularly firewood and preserved food. Hiraku fears he isn't contributing enough as he is the only one unable to use magic, but Lee assures him no one else has managed to live and thrive in Death Forest before. Winter arrives, so with everyone confined indoors, Hiraku introduces board games, allowing Rue and Tia to maintain their rivalry without damaging anything. Hiraku is surprised the wolves can also play, with Kuro easily defeating Rue at chess and Hiraku at mahjong. Spring eventually arrives, but before they can plant new crops, Zabuton sounds the alarm as a giant wyvern approaches the farm. Hiraku's farming tool spontaneously transforms into a magical spear, and he kills the wyvern. The slaying of a legendary wyvern terrifies the Demon Lord's generals, and the Dragon King, who all wonder who exactly is living in Death Forest. Hiraku grows grapes to make wine. God is punished by his daughter, the goddess of agriculture, who reveals the farming tool he gave Hiraku is actually a replica of Grime the God Spear, and Hiraku has only survived using it because God coincidentally granted him a supernaturally healthy body. Zabuton and the wolves catch another vampire who turns out to be Rue's sister Flora. As another researcher, Flora is fascinated by Hiraku's description of fermenting microorganisms which make wine, miso, and tofu, so she moves onto the farm, bringing cows and 24 ogre maids with her. Feeling outnumbered, Tia invites 3 more angels and a tribe of lizardmen who provide chickens. Another 30 elves arrive, all with plans to have babies. Hiraku really starts to worry about the absence of other men. As the farm expands to fit everyone, Hiraku renames it the Great Tree Village and throws a feast to celebrate the occasion where everyone unanimously declares Hiraku as the village mayor. Demon General Beazle meets with Hiraku, who offers the Demon Lord 10% of his harvest as a yearly tax. Beazle accepts but later reveals to Generals Gratz and Randon he only accepted 10% for fear of what is protecting Hiraku's village. Vampire Princess Rue, Angel of Annihilation Tia, an army of elves, angels, and lizardmen, a pack of inferno wolves, and a greater demon spider. Dragon King Drime also visits the village. Hiraku realizes as mayor the need to cultivate diplomatic relationships, so they build an embassy to house overnight visitors. Hiraku also wisely educates the villagers on the difference between guests and unwelcome intruders. Their next visitors are beastmen from Howling Village, miners and hunters whose leader Garf negotiates a trade agreement, silver, iron, and glass in exchange for food crops. In exchange for wine, Drime agrees to ferry trade goods between the Great Tree Village and Howling Village. Eventually, 20 beastmen ask to move into Great Tree Village, all young women. Hiraku finally puts his foot down and demands the beastmen send men to live in the village as well, only to find the men they send are boys too young to marry anyone for at least 10 years. As Sina and the other beastmen acclimatize to village life, Hiraku still worries about not being able to use magic. He later defeats a grappling bear and a bloody viper fighting outside the village, which he cooks for another village feast. With Flora's help, Hiraku creates mayonnaise and miso. Later, dwarves led by Donovan visit the village to trade Hiraku's wine for distillation technology, allowing the village to brew corn whiskey. The dwarves end up moving into the village too. Hiraku hopes the dwarves might want to marry, but they are only attracted to women with beards. 2 dragons appear and Hiraku almost kills one until Gucci frantically reveals they are Drime's daughter Lastismoon and wife Graphaloon. Graphaloon asks Lasty to stay in the village as a diplomat, hoping to avoid Hiraku becoming their enemy. Hiraku later assigns Lastismoon responsibility over all diplomatic relations, which the demon General Beazle finds out on a produce procurement mission. Terrified, Hiraku now commands dragons. He sends his own daughter Florum to live in the village as a spy. Florum is shocked to observe the village army is powerful enough to threaten the demon army and is even more shocked to learn from Lastismoon their commander Hiraku is a human strong enough he almost killed Graphaloon. Florum decides to stay in the village longer than planned despite being constantly nervous around Hiraku. The village acquits a slime who drank a barrel of the village's precious wine. Autumn rolls in, and, over a hot pot, Hiraku misses seafood, so Florum and Lasty arrange to trade for fish with a merchant named Michael. As part of the deal, he requests to become Hiraku's purveyor and manage all trade between Hiraku and the outside world. Hiraku senses Michael is trustworthy, though it is shown via comical flashbacks where Michael was terrified. Another dragon challenges Hiraku to a fight. After capturing her, Hiraku discovers she is Hakurin, Drime's immature older sister. Drime explains Hakurin believed Lasty had married Hiraku and, being single herself, was jealous. Unamused, Hiraku forces Hakurin to repair the damage. Hakurin discovers board games and Hiraku is unwillingly drawn into strip mahjong that ends with the ladies seeing Hiraku lose and get naked. Beazle learns of Hakurin's presence in the village, causing his co-worker General Randon to forward his resignation letter in fear. Demon Lord Galgardo is more concerned his daughter Yuri is going through teenage rebellion. Hakurin tries to move into the village as an unemployed layabout, but after Hiraku punishes her enough times, she becomes the village school teacher. Hiraku discovers some inferno puppies raided a dungeon home of Lamia ladies. After apologizing to them, the Lamias begin trading dungeon treasure for crops. It eventually forms a delivery service for all the trading villages. Meanwhile, Yuri is convinced Florum is Hiraku's prisoner and plans to invade the Great Tree Village. Florum learns of Yuri's intentions, But Yuri has been lied to by ambitious but known simpleton demon nobility Rosalind, Clacase, and Rojo. Florum secretly arranges for Yuri's army to be defeated, but not killed, by the Lamia ladies. As punishment, Florum moves Yuri and the idiots into the village to work as an atonement, though she hides their attempted invasion from Hiraku for political reasons. The trio try to escape but are always foiled by the Inferno wolves and demon spiders. The idiots grudgingly help Florum with the village's financial paperwork, becoming known as the Town Hall Trio. Learning the truth about the village, Yuri regrets almost invading and returns home satisfied. The trio decide to stay, preferring village life to demon court politics. Galgardo is confused by Yuri's abrupt personality change and mistakenly thinks she has a boyfriend. 5 mountain elves led by Ya move into the village, using their fire magic to craft pottery goods. Florum foils a sneaky plot by the trio to seduce Hiraku. A dungeon is discovered where resides another bloody viper the elves want to hunt as its meat can increase their chances of pregnancy. As winter comes, Rue falls ill and becomes bedridden. Due to her symptoms, Sina suspects Rue is pregnant with Hiraku's baby. As Rue's pregnancy progresses, Hiraku goes about his daily schedule of running the village, farm work, checking up on everyone, ensuring village security and combat training. A man suddenly appears who turns out to be vampire progenitor Vargreif, Rue and Flora's 4,000-year-old grandfather. Vampires usually have children by transforming another human into a vampire, so Rue's pregnancy is a rare occurrence. Having seen Hiraku's statue of the god who reincarnated him, Vargreif reveals he also met God once before being born as a vampire. He has forgotten most details since, to keep his sanity over his eternal lifespan, he erases his memories every few centuries. Hiraku carves Vargreif a copy of the statue which Vargreif secretly donates to the temple of the god of creation. The priests are so entranced by such an accurate likeness of God they let it be known the Great Tree Village is under their protection. To celebrate Rue's pregnancy, Vargreif sends the village an expensive grand piano. The trio are too nervous to play it, so Hiraku ends up buying a cheaper version for them to practice on first, though regrets it when their practicing prevents him from a good night's sleep. Rue's pregnancy continues. In solidarity, the village gives up alcohol until Rue can drink again. Rue's labor and delivery period is an uneasy time for Hiraku as he was banished from the house for the time being, so he wanders the farm until Rue gives birth to their son Alfred, a half-vampire, and Hiraku is overjoyed at being a first-time parent. Hiraku decides the village needs its own currency as their current system of trading goods is no longer sustainable. So he forges great tree coins and gives 3 to every villager, though there is some confusion regarding exactly what 1 coin is worth. To celebrate Alfred's birth, a grand feast is held and the dwarves produce a celebratory wine to be saved until Alfred is old enough to drink. Beazle finally declares the Great Tree Village to be too powerful to ever defeat and plans to become allies instead. Galgardo throws a tantrum, mistakenly thinking Beazle wants to arrange a political marriage between Yuri and Hiraku. Hiraku receives requests from almost 200 people wishing to move to the village to escape wars or persecution, leading to a decision to build an entire second village nearby to house them all, Great Tree Village 2. This is the end of the video, so please watching all of my anime recap series. Thanks for watching.